Hey guys, it's Megan from Vigilante Vibes, and I said I would make a character breakdown of Karen Page from Daredevil, and I did not lie. I'm gonna give you like so much. I have so much here. She's easily one of the most tragic characters of the Marvel Universe, at least in my opinion. I'm gonna give you her entire life story, how she was so heavily involved with Matt Murdock, who, is Daredevil, and Foggy Nelson. Starting from the beginning of her life, Karen was a very bright girl. Straight A's, head cheerleader, graduated summa cum laude from the University of Vermont, and after she graduated, she sought work in New York City. Something to note, her parents were like rich. It was pretty assumed that she would get everything when they passed on. So she was pretty much set for life, but she wanted to make a name for herself. Karen was hired as a secretary at the law firm of Matt Murdock, secretly Daredevil, and Foggy Nelson when they opened their practice together. So, like the show. Initially, she was concerned about Matt navigating the challenges of being a blind man in the busy city. She first encountered the Fantastic Four when they needed legal assistance to resolve some issues. Yes, Fantastic Four was one of their first clients. To handle the matter, they sent the Thing to Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock's office to hire their services. Karen, she's been kidnapped multiple times during Daredevil's battles, first by the Owl, later by the Purple Man we all know and love. Over time, she fell in love with Matt, becoming his long-time love interest. Long time. Too long, in my opinion. She also cared for Foggy when he was hospitalized after being injured by the enforcers and was present when Namor, the submariner, visited the office seeking help. So she's seen some stuff. It's not fair how much she saw so quickly. But, it's pretty exciting, though. Although she kept her love for Matt a secret, Karen often searched for ways to restore his sight. She told him about Dr. Van Eyck, a doctor from Boston who might be able to help, who had recently moved into the country of Lichenbad. I'm so sorry. I've never actually said this word out loud. But anyways, Matt rejected the idea, which upset Karen, leading her to call him a coward. But also, Karen, he's been fine. He's cool. Mind your business. That's just so weird. Someone shows up, works for you, and then they just I'm going to find a way to fix you. It's I didn't ask you for that. On the same day, Matt met Klaus Kruger, an old friend of Foggy's who was the Duke of Lichen. Someone tell me in the comments how to say that word. I'm so sorry. Lichenbad? I don't know. This is my downfall, is trying to pronounce words I never said out loud before. When Matt asked about the doctor, Klaus confirmed Karen's story, but Matt sensed that Klaus was hiding something because probably I think history showed us, anyone whose first name is Klaus usually has something to hide. He insisted on accompanying Klaus on the trip to his country. During the journey, the doctor, Karen, had recommended sacrificed himself to save the people of this country, preventing Matt from undergoing the surgery. Later, Karen received a note from Matt explaining that surgery hadn't taken place. This left Foggy, who had also had feelings for Karen, feeling jealous and assuming that Matt had backed out at the last moment, believing Karen would continue to focus on Matt because of his blindness. It's my God, what a little triangle going on. Karen assisted Foggy in his campaign to become the next district attorney of New York City. After Foggy secured the DA position, Matt decided he needed to distance himself from both Karen and Foggy to sort through his emotions and try to forget his feelings for Karen. He closed Nelson and Murdock and began traveling abroad. Concerned for Matt, Karen visited Foggy at the DA's office to see if he had heard any news. While there, they received a call informing them that Matt had been lost at sea. However, they later received a letter from Matt, the guy who's supposedly dead, and confirming that he was alive and asking for their help in proving Kazar's innocence. Kazar from the Savage Lands. The two then planned a trip to England to meet him and participated in a court trial involving Khazar. Upon returning to New York, Karen was kidnapped again, of course, by a man who had swapped bodies with Ox when she recognized him, causing chaos in the city. After being taken to his lab, she managed to escape with the help of the original Ox. Shortly after, she, along with Foggy and Matt, were kidnapped by the masked marauder and the stilt man. While aboard the masked marauder's helicopter, believing Matt was falling to his death, she attacked the supervillain, which is pretty cool. Once it was revealed that he was in fact the landlord of the law firm she had worked for, Nelson and Murdoch, he asked her to remove his mask. Daredevil then clipped the marauder, and he apparently fell to his death via his own device. During this time, Matt had pretended to have a twin brother, Mike. This was so I don't know. I thought this was funny. Who was really Daredevil. Karen felt attracted to both Matt and Mike, who's the same person, but she finally decided she had real feelings for Matt just before Matt faked Mike's death. It was a very funny few comics to read, to be honest with you. I think this was during Devil's Reign, and it was so funny because it's just like, I don't know, it's like, the reader knows, and you're like, look at him just pretending. I don't know. I'm easily entertained. When Foggy began a romantic relationship with Deborah Harris, Matt failed to pursue one with Karen despite her having already expressed her feelings. Karen decided to leave her job. Matt pretended not to be interested in her to make it easier for her to move on. I kind of get it. However, unable to stay apart, they continued to stay in touch, with Karen working as a secretary to then D.A. Nelson while Matt remained at the firm. At the funeral of Karen's father, who had turned into supervillain Death's Head, Matt finally revealed his secret identity as Daredevil. He promised to leave his secret life behind and marry Karen. However, while working with Foggy to fight organized crime, Matt was forced to don his mask again, much to Karen's frustrations. Karen left her job and moved to Los Angeles to pursue an acting career, beginning with 2 appearances on the TV show Strange Secrets. She made it clear that she no longer wanted to continue a romantic relationship with Daredevil. Although she insisted she couldn't be with a superhero, she admitted that she would have considered a relationship with Matt if he gave up the secret identity. Despite her decision, Karen still had lingering feelings with Matt. The feelings were mutual, of course, they always are. When she flew to New York for the premiere of the first movie, A Tender Affair, she called Matt, but a female voice answered the phone, leading Karen to wrongly assume that Matt had moved on to a new romantic interest. Still in love with him, she found comfort in her agent, Phil Hitchcock, who secretly had feelings for her. So, basically everyone has feelings for Karen. Meanwhile, Daredevil crossed paths with the superhero Black Widow. Just as Phil proposed to Karen, she ultimately returned to Matt and became his fiancé. However, after once again fearing for Daredevil's safety, Karen broke off the engagement and, out of respect, stepped aside for Black Widow. And I always liked Black Widow and Matt Murdock together. I thought it was just, for a lack of a better term, a whole vibe. In Los Angeles, Karen met Johnny Blaze. She was kidnapped by the new Death's Head, who was searching for her father's research, but she was rescued by Daredevil and the Ghost Rider, who is Johnny Blaze, one of the Ghost Riders. While trying to get contacts for her career, Karen met with some pretty shady characters who offered to help, but she distrusted their motives, which is fair. Trying to clear her head, she visited a road bar called Ghost of a Chance, where she, along with the other customers, witnessed how crime lord Wilson Fisk disposed of a disloyal agent, Vic Crueler, or Cruel for short. Paige and the other witnesses were tortured and drugged to forget about what they seen. Crueler, however, survived, badly burned, partially amnesic, eager to get revenge on the people who wouldn't help him. Siding with the shady contacts, she made some adult films. I think we all know what that is. While hooked on, I don't know if I can say the word on YouTube, the H word drug. Working with a number of producers, including Jim and Artie O'Farrell. One of Karen's movies was titled A Tale of Two Cities, with another one's title starting with The Devil in Mrs. Paw. Page eventually sold out Daredevil's secret identity for a shot in the arm. It was pretty trashy. This information reached Wilson Fisk, also, Kingpin. Fisk used this information to destroy Matt Murdock's life in a number of ways while unaliving anyone else that has that information. Karen escaped from the killers. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, on a lot of these platforms. So I'm just see what happens. And by associating with drug dealer Paulo Scorzi, bought her way back into New York City in exchange for favors in an attempt to reunite with Matt, which is the person you just sold out. As Matt had disappeared by then, Karen looked for Foggy's help, but when Paulo followed her to Foggy's place, she knocked Foggy down to prevent Paulo from hurting him and tried to hand herself over to Paulo. Matt, having survived his ordeal, defeated Paulo and, despite Karen's betrayal, took Karen back. And they started to build a life together in Hell's Kitchen, albeit Matt had lost his right to work as an attorney. Dude, if you just hadn't done that, just don't take her back. She's for the streets. With Matt's support, Karen quickly overcame her drug addiction, which inspired Matt to start rebuilding his own life. Karen, in turn, began searching for a new secretarial job because I guess she just wants to be a secretary at the end of the day. She then organized a legal aid clinic in Hell's Kitchen where Matt could provide pro bono legal advice without officially practicing law. Karen worked at the clinic's hotline, assisting other addicts and those dealing with suicidal thoughts. From then on, Karen regularly tested herself for STDs, eventually stopping her concerns but maintaining a medical routine. That sounds random, but it comes into play. Meanwhile, Matt was seduced by the villain Typhoid Mary, who had been ordered by Kingpin to break Daredevil's heart. Although Matt started a relationship with Mary, he kept it a secret from Karen, even as he continued to accept her help in tracking criminals. When Typhoid Mary's plot caused Daredevil to go missing, Karen first enlisted the Human Torch to search for him, which, not bad. And then called on the Black Widow and the police, and all during the Inferno event. When Daredevil was eventually found, Karen believed that he had been deeply involved with Mary, leading to her breakup with Matt again. As a result, the police shut down the clinic, and Matt left the city for a while. Toxic. They're just too toxic for each other. During Matt's absence, Karen became an anti-adult film activist for a nonprofit organization called Smutbusters. When Matt returned and tried to explain the situation, hoping to rekindle their relationship, Karen was initially hesitant. However, she eventually decided to give him another chance. As Matt worked to regain his lawyer's license, Daredevil succeeded in ousting the Kingpin, creating a power vacuum that other criminals tried to exploit because, that's what they do. Karen visited Matt in his newly opened office to congratulate him on his success, insisting that it was better than still having the Kingpin in control, and shared a kiss with him. They resumed their relationship, jokingly insisting that they weren't on a date and weren't romantically involved, but they are. Just as they reconnected, and after Karen compared herself favorably to Matt's former love, Elektra, R.I.P., Matt staged his own death, leaving Karen devastated. Her grief was so deep that when she was offered a new job involving a computer-related project, She briefly considered accepting. However, upon noticing signs that they might be involved in some illegal activity, she changed her mind. While Karen tried to investigate this mystery, unsuccessfully attempting to involve Foggy Nelson, because that's what she does. She tries to recruit him on all her little things. Cruel, going back to him, returned seeking revenge on Karen and the other witnesses. Cruel accidentally died in an encounter with the Kingpin, Daredevil, and Foggy Nelson without ever meeting Karen. Meanwhile, Karen had hired a private investigator, eventually choosing cyborg John Garrett, a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent who proved useful in dealing with the cockroaches in her apartment. So there's that. Matt's psyche suffered during this time. Matt's psyche suffered during this time, leading to an identity crisis where he donned different Daredevil customs, believed to be different people. During this time, Karen saw several Daredevils, and hoping for Matt's return, she tried to recruit Foggy in this quest. Of course, like I said, always Foggy. Daredevil, claiming to be the original Daredevil, interrupted Karen's encounter with Foggy, and to convince Karen, he kissed her. He later visited Karen in her home and claimed to not be Matt before leaving. Disbelieving the claim, Karen recruited Foggy and went to Matt's home to find Matt in shock and partially dressed as Daredevil. Karen did her best to help him. Foggy, initially aghast that his friends had kept such a secret from him, finally decided to help him. Matt recovered, and Karen agreed to rekindle their romance only after thoroughly trusting everything on her, confessing his reasons for pretending to be dead. She accepted him. They returned to the situation quite similar to their previous one. It's age-old time. Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Stop trying to force it to work. When Matt worked at the prestigious law firm, a pretty prestigious one, Karen took a new job as a radio talk show host and DJ at Wilson Fisk's WFSK, using the alias Paige Angel. She kept this job as a secret from Matt and her friends, aware of the rumors that suggested WFSK had mob ties and was involved in money laundering. Matt became suspicious, but Karen later discovered that he had been searching for his ex-girlfriend, the Black Widow, one of the few Avengers who survived the Onslaught attack, and a friend Matt wanted to support. Feeling hurt that Matt hadn't told her while she was keeping secrets of her own, Karen was understandably upset. I mean, I guess it's understandable if he's searching out his ex-girlfriend. That's one thing. But you can't get mad he kept things from you because you did too. They had a heated discussion, and then Matt pointed out that she was hiding her job, and she exploded in frustration, which is toxic, man. Toxic. After accidentally discovering Karen's job, Matt called her at the station anonymously. Without revealing his identity to the audience, he assured her, expressing support for her work and acknowledging that despite the rumors surrounding WFSK, she was doing something good. However, Karen's suspicions about WFSK were confirmed when she learned that her midnight show was a part of a malicious plan organized by the villain Insomnia, who worked for Mr. Fear. Insomnia had been using low frequencies to prevent people from sleeping. He kidnapped Karen to force her to reveal secret information about Daredevil, but she refused to cooperate. Daredevil saved her, but Insomnia managed to escape with Daredevil's Billy Club, which could potentially expose Matt's secret identity to Mr. Fear. Karen was able to keep her job thanks to Rosalind Sharp, Matt's new business partner, who unexpectedly, became a great friend to Karen. Mr. Fear manipulated the events so that Karen was charged with the murder of psychotic policeman who was stalking her. Matt became her lawyer, which was Fear's goal, intending to make Matt lose faith in both his lover and the law system. While in jail, Karen was protected from brutal policemen that by a disguised Black Widow as a secret favor from Matt. Matt proved Karen's innocence, but even then, Fear had a jury member in his pocket. However, the Kingpin discovered this and ensured this person left for medical reasons. Kingpin disliked Fear's audacity and wanted Matt to be in his debt. In short, Karen was found not guilty, but Fear was still free. Karen was offered a daytime radio program in Los Angeles. She decided to accept, separating from Matt mostly to learn to forgive herself. 6 months later, Karen was diagnosed HIV positive. She took it rather hard, and it was kind of interesting because she had this whole monologue to herself, like, I want to go see Matt, but I don't want to come back to him to crumble into his arms. I want us to both build each other up. And it's like that might have been the one that worked with him, I think. This was part of an evil scheme where supervillain Mysterio attempted to defeat Daredevil and, knowing all of his secrets, manipulated Daredevil's friends to drive him mad. Indeed, Mysterio impersonated the doctor and didn't even know whether Karen was really HIV positive or not. Karen then returned to Matt's New York home. Once Karen was home alone, she was visited by Mysterio, who was under the alias Nicholas McCups. Mysterio told Karen that Matt was trying to protect a baby that brought bad luck to nearby people, and this baby was a big deal. A big deal. Like, Doctor Strange had to contact Mephisto over this baby. So, if that tells you anything. And that baby was responsible for Karen's and several other people's plights. Karen went to the Clinton Mission Shelter to meet with Matt and ask him to let her care for the baby. She was trying to help. As Matt had not talked to Karen about the baby, he identified her as being compromised and recriminated her for not accepting responsibility for her own acts. Karen left the church, and after thinking about it, she decided to return and help Matt in any way she saw fit. It should also be mentioned that Matt was also under some kind of hallucinogenic drug, which was pointed out by Doctor Strange, that would trigger when someone brought up the baby's innocence. So that's why he's going off like that. Meanwhile, Mysterio had hired Bullseye and sent him to the shelter for the baby. Bullseye is more than happy to, because Bullseye is the most out of pocket. Him and Muse, man, I don't know what it is, but they are wild. With additional orders to massacre anyone there except Daredevil. He did unalive the nuns and witnesses with a body count of 11, but failed to find the baby and started battering Daredevil. Karen arrived at that point and tried to help. She asked Sister Maggie to take the baby out while she used a figure of the Holy Child to attract Bullseye's attention. Pretending to deliver the baby in exchange for Daredevil's life, Bullseye was initially falling for this trick. When he saw the trick, he hit Karen. He threw the fake baby at her head. I mean, it wasn't all that. Karen grabbed Bullseye's gun and threatened to off him. But Bullseye was not scared because he knew his gun was not loaded. He said, "My name is Bullseye." You only come with one bullet. So, there's that. Finally, when leaving the baby, Bullseye took Daredevil's billy club, threw it at Daredevil as just to kill him, the killing weapon. But Karen intercepted it with her body, dying in his place soon after. Daredevil defeated Mysterio, who took his own life. So dramatic. Karen's funeral was attended by several friends, including Liz Allen, Captain America, Stan Lee, Becky Blake, the Black Widow, Fantastic Four, Mr. and Mrs. Peter Parker, Kevin Smith, so many others. Foggy could not attend because he was in prison at that point. Matt was in such a horrible place. He was later encouraged by Spider-Man, who reminded him that the baby he had saved, a baby, was given up for adoption, and that Matt chose to call Karen. So, baby's name is Karen. Karen's insurance policy from WFSX WFSK allowed Matt to rebuild the Nelson and Murdoch law office. So, as you can see, it's tragic. So many bad things happened to her, just resulting in death. And now, Daredevil's like a few days away. And Karen is in there. She has accidentally confirmed that she will be in season 3, but I think season 3 is going to be the one. I think Bullseye is just going to kind of tread water for season 2. And then season 3, Karen's done. And that's okay. Or if she does eat it in this season, and she's just like flashbacks in this third season. I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. Well, I have, but I haven't thought about it too hard because it's like, I don't know much about what's going to happen. But if you guys have theories, you let me know in the comment section. So then we can all discuss it together. I hope you enjoyed this one. I think I might make one for Foggy next, at least before the show premieres. So yeah, why not? I mean, I like doing these. I didn't expect it to go so long, but like, whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section what you think is going to happen with Karen in Daredevil Born Again. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more character breakdowns. On that note, have a marvelous day.